And welcome back to a new video, a new review, a new preview coming at you for this upcoming game at the weekend between the Mariners and Salford City. And yes, I'm going to class this game as really the game of the weekend, really, at least if you look at it from league position and probably performances overall throughout the season so far. Probably the game of the week, and it's going to be a difficult trip to Salford. They're obviously going through some big changes and making votes on big things for them. And David Artell and his team, coming off a fantastic win last time out, and looking as though we definitely know where the net is. I'm going to take you through a few stats and my thoughts in the game, including a little bit of the team news as well that David Artell did give away. Did give, I should say, to Matt Dean. Not too much majorly to report in regards, but he was very, very calm. Very calm, very right down the line. David Artell was in what he thinks can be achieved, and never gets carried away. I would say very monotone in David Artell, but with the team news as such, it looks like Henry Brown will be missing. It looks like he's going to have a scan, I believe, in the next day or so, from what he was saying to Matt on Radio Humberside. So it looks like Henry Brown could be missing for a little while as well. And obviously, apart from obviously Cam Gardner's main injury, they did play earlier this week, as I'm recording, at Alfreton against Chesterfield's reserves, which really I think reserve football needs to be brought back, because it just helps fitness, and people like Zach Gilzen and Danny Rose and all, and a few of the other injured guys were able to get a good half hour in them for that. So I think they've all seemed to come out of that, apart from Henry, of course, all come out of that sort of pretty unscathed, and it's good to see. No real other major injuries to concern ourselves with, which is always a positive sign for us. And one thing this year that we've really had a hangover is the injuries, as in we haven't been getting as many as we had done. Apart from really Henry, most players are now available. To some probably able to start, some able to come in off the bench. So that's always good to know. Also, an interview was done, which you can go and check on BBC Sounds as well, with Jude Sunsup-Bell. He spoke with Matt Dean and the club media as well. Speaks very well spoken. He speaks really, really well as a young lad, and saying that he knew George McEachran from his time at Chelsea, coming through as a youngster at Chelsea. So he knew George. He knew a few of a couple of the players we had here, loanees we had last season. One name he did mention was Jaden Luca, who is now at Notts County. But he did speak to Jaden as well, because Apparently, Grimsby have been chasing Jude since around about December last year, January early this year. And he was very complimentary of David Artell, which everyone is doing, and the club. And the buzz around when obviously we got the Manchester United win, so that's always good to see. Also, just going back a little bit, but as to this preview, is that I did watch the League Two section of the Not the Top 20 podcast, and where they broke down League Two scores of last week, and James Belshaw, who is the goalkeeper of Harrogate, had some very good comments, some very kind comments for Grimsby in that podcast. If you haven't seen that, do go and see that. They do great reviews, the Not the Top 20 podcast guys. They do some great work on, if you're a Championship fan, a League One fan, or a League Two fan, do go and check them out. They are really good, and they've really got their facts, and you can tell their enthusiasm. They're a great podcast to look back how they review the game. So I'll review the games of the week. So now we'll go on to a bit of the statage for the game. Obviously, we go to the Peninsula on Saturday. It's a 3:00 kickoff. And as I called it the game of the week, and that is exactly, I believe, what it is: as fourth play fifth. 1 point between it, 19 to 18, 1 point between them in their goals scored. Salford have scored 17 goals this season. Grimsby have scored 21. Obviously greatly helped by the 7 that we knocked in last week. Goals conceded, exactly the same. 13 goals. Shots, they've got a 4-shot advantage, 109 to 105. Shots on target, 54 to 50. And shots off target, they have more shots off target than on. We've had 51 to their 59. But we've had 47 shots blocked to Salford's 34. The pass accuracy is very, very interesting. Grimsby have the edge on that. 75.5% of the passing has been where it should have been going, or where it was planned to have been gone. I think this is an interesting stat. Points gained from a losing position for Salford is 1. For Grimsby, it's 5. Points dropped from a winning position. Salford have dropped 3 points. We have dropped 2 points so far. So there isn't really much between the two sides at all. It might just give us the edge, because I think our away form has been solid really since David's been in charge here. So we'll have to see how it goes. If we look at the overall recent form of the two sides, well, very good for both sides really. Only 1 defeat in the 5 games prior to this for both teams. Swindon, however, Salford. I was looking at Salford against Swindon. That's what I was looking at. Salford have won 4 of their last 5. They included wins against Swindon, Shrewsbury, Tranmere, and Wigan in the EFL Trophy. But actually, 3 of the last 4 league games, they've scored 3 goals in them. They've scored 3 against Swindon, 3 against Shrewsbury, and 3 against Tranmere, before losing last time out at a really resurgent Bristol Rovers with a 2-1 win for Bristol Rovers. If we look at the Mariners' form, very, very similar. 3 wins, a draw, and that 1 defeat. Obviously, the wins are obviously last week's 7-1 demolition of 9 men Cheltenham. We got a 1-0 win in the League Cup against Sheffield Wednesday, and our win before that was against MK Dons 3-2, where we nearly let it slip, but we didn't. Obviously, in between that, a draw against Cambridge, and that deserved defeat away at Barnet. So, two teams in real good form. And like I said, Salford are a really, really good team. They're a solid team. They definitely know where the back of the net is, and they definitely, they have progressed over the last few years. If we look at the previous 10 games between the two sides, it's 4 wins apiece and 2 draws. Always been a tricky opponent. In the last 3 times that we've played Salford, it's 2-1 in our favour. Obviously, we played them in right at the start of David Artell's first reign, at the start of his reign, 3-0 win at the end of December of 2023. We then won there in the October, 2024, and that was a 2-1 win. Luca Barrington with both those goals when he was on loan from Brighton. So, very good hunting ground the last couple of times. The last time we played was back in March, and Salford were able to scrape a 1-0 win at Blundell Park for Salford City. So, as you can tell just by looking at all the stats and all that good stuff, it's going to be a very, very tight game. Like I said, 4th against 5th. 1 point in it. The goal difference is +8 for Grimsby and +4 for Salford. Salford's record so far is 6 wins, 1 draw and 3 defeats. The Mariners are 5 wins, 3 draws and 2 defeats. I suppose for me the biggest surprise this season is that we're on such a strong plus goal difference. We were never on a plus goal difference last year. So, both sides are there. They both made a real strong start to the campaign. And I think the Mariners are going to have to be at it against Salford, because they're not going to be a pushover. I think this could be a really good scoring game. This I'm actually going to go for. I'm going to go for a draw, because I think this could be, as David Artell put it, probably our toughest test overall this season. I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw between Grimsby and Salford. I think hand goals could come from Vernon and I'm going to say Vernon and Green. I think will get the goals. You got to think Salford have got quite a good potent attack really early on, and I would take a point at Salford. So we might say, well, you're being a bit, why aren't you going for a win? I want a win. I think Town can get the win, but it also, a point at Salford wouldn't be the end of the world. So I might be playing a bit safe there. But a 2-2 draw I'm going to go for. Such a great start to the season to see us up there early on with early wins, early points and whatever. It's going to be a difficult game for both sides, I think. Carl Robinson will know that coming into this, and both managers will know each other fairly well. So it's going to be an interesting game. Unfortunately, I will not be at Salford. That's a ground that I did vow that I would never return to. But if you are going to Salford, I know that we've sold, I think it's nearly 1,500, something like that, going to Salford. Guys, the fan base is incredible at this level, really. 1,500. Yes, Salford's not too far away. It's only, about 80 miles or so away from here. But still, take that level of numbers is absolutely phenomenal. Our fans are some of the best in the country, and I will say that against any fan base. So if anyone that is going tomorrow for the Salford game, let's hope we bring back 3 points, shall we? I know I've been reluctant and said the 1, but usually they say whenever you go away, if you get anything away from home, it's always a plus. But in the meantime, guys, that is me. I'm leaving it fairly short this week. Do like, do share, do subscribe, do hit that bell button. That'll let you know when I upload some extra content on the Mariners. And well done to the women last week with their thumping win against Newark. Credit to them. They did fail last time out in the FA Cup qualifying before that. But, the girls have really started strongly, and I will also be down to go and see them for, like I've said this before, a few games this season. So I'll go and see the ladies play as well, and hopefully they can progress and keep progressing as it goes on. In the meantime, guys, leave me your thoughts down below for this game. Like I said, I think this is game of the week. Just generally in League 2, I think. So it'll be interesting to see what your score predictions are, what your thoughts are for the game, and what your hopes for the game are. Are you going to Salford on Saturday? Let me know down below and all that good stuff, and I will see you for a review of the game later on that evening. In the meantime, guys, up the Mariners. Always a pleasure, guys. Thank you for your continued support, even if sometimes I might sound like I'm a bit drained. I appreciate you guys sticking with me and keeping your continued support going. In the meantime, and again, can I just say a hello to Mighty Mariner? He always comes out to me during the home games, and I'll see him in the next one as well. So, but any of you guys, if you do see me at any of the games, do come say hi, give me your views, and we'll try and shoot something as well in the new year with some of you fans as well to really get this going. But in the meantime, guys, up the Mariners. I'll see you soon. Leave your score predictions and thoughts down below, and I will see you in the review. Until then, guys, up the Mariners, and let's get probably one of the toughest games of the season started. I'll see you guys soon. Ta-da.